Hello and welcome to Alicia's blog. My name is Aliscia. Again, it is after the holidays. Pretty much everybody has celebrated and did what they were supposed to do with their families and spend time with your families. I hope that's what you did. I know that's what I did, and I really enjoyed my time with my family. Today I would like to talk about the holidays pretty much, and how I want to try to bring my experience or tell a story about what has gone on in my life. Today, among other things, have brought a lot of memories, some good and some bad. I was on my Facebook today and I put up a status that said, 10 years I've spent dealing with the wrong people, per se. And it could be friends or it could be in a love relationship. Most of it was love relationships. I spent 10 years dealing with relationships that weren't good for me, and I thought it was, but it wasn't. And a lot of times I felt the need to want to stay simply because I was afraid. I was afraid of the fact that there was a possibility that I might not be able to get a chance to have love come at me all over again. And that was at a time when I, felt low about myself, didn't think that I wasn't the most prettiest woman there, or I didn't think I didn't look at myself as great looking or whatever. And this is not something to damper anything. It's just something I want to address, because a lot of us, including myself, are out there, and it's the holiday season, and it's where you have a lot of family, and you also have a lot of togetherness with your significant others or your husbands and wives and everything else. And you want that. You want to be able to have that. And some people, are settled in being single. But the holidays is not something that, you want to address that issue. It's like you're single, but, during the holidays you start feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't have anybody right now, or I just was out of relationship, and a relationship didn't work, and you kind of wish it did. But the bottom line is this. I had to look at it. I'm like, I spent 10 years of my life personally involving myself in relationships that weren't healthy for me. And had I made the decision to follow my heart or follow my head and do what I knew was right for me, maybe I would not be in the situation I'm in now. A lot of times we make mistakes, and it costs us years out of our lives simply because we make wrong choices. I, for one, made wrong choices along the way. I made it based upon lust, based upon love, based upon looks, and that's not really a thing that you're supposed to do. The idea of what I'm talking about is this. You want to base your love for someone on what they can offer you. If they cannot offer you anything, if they're not able to bring anything to the table, and you're the one that's bringing it mostly to the table, it's not going to work. It's not. And the bottom line is that you can try to mend the fences. You can try to do whatever you can do to make the relationship work, but it won't, simply because it'll stress you out or the other person. I got to the place where I was the one that was doing mostly everything. And in the end, I lost. And it hurt me a lot, a great deal. I dealt with men that took me for a ride. And it wasn't a good thing. And I'm not saying that men are bad. Women are the same way. Men could have had the story of, okay, I went for, I had a ride with a woman, and they took me for a ride, and they used me up and all that kind of stuff. Relationships, if you're not with the right person, and they're not fulfilling you in a certain manner, if they're not making you happy, then there's no sense of even going there in the relationship. There's no sense of hanging on to it. If you're constantly being stressed out, if you're constantly being nagged, or if you're constantly being, frustrated, it's no sense of staying in that relationship. There's no sense at all. I, for one, felt like, because I have such a big heart and I have such a good heart, that things would change. And that's immature. That's not even immature thinking. That's kind of like a naive way of thinking, that things would change or that person would change because of the circumstances. It's not going to. You have to be with someone that that you can actually, it's going to better you. It's going to make you better. It's going to help you along the way. It's going to, be there for you when you need them the most. You got to be there. You got to have someone that's like that. And during the holiday season, there are times, and not even just the holiday season, around summertime or whatever, you start feeling like you want a person like that in your life. I always say that the best person to have in your life is one that is God sent. One that is God sent and is made for you. These other people that are out here that you involve yourself with, or I involve myself with, wasn't made for me, wasn't sent by God to me. They wasn't a God sent to me. And so I realized that. Today my segment is based upon my relationships, and I want to try to put my emphasis on what I've dealt with in my life. I dealt with a lot of hurt, heartache, and pain brought on by people that I knew wasn't right for me. But because of the fact that I wanted affection and I wanted love and I wanted companionship and everything else, it pretty much kind of blinded me, because all I wanted was to have that companionship, that love, that somebody tells you all the time that you're loved and you're cared for. And sometimes you need to hear that as a human. And we're all human, and we all want to be able to have that ability to have someone say that to you, that you're loved, or want to show that to you with affection, or want to be there with you with companionship. You want to have that, but sometimes you cannot have it with the wrong person. Learn to make good decisions when it comes down to relationships. When it comes down to relationships, make decisions that is best for you, not best for the other person, because the other person may not have your interest at heart. Don't be with someone simply because they look good. Don't be with someone simply because they got money. All that will fade away. And what do you have? Nothing. And don't be with someone based upon sex. Be with someone that is going to bring something to that table in your life, that's going to enhance you, that's going to build you up, that's going to be there for you through thick and thin. Nonetheless, be with someone that ultimately cares for you. And some people say, okay, your best friend is the one that you need to be with. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, because of the fact that they know you so well. But be with someone that you know can uplift you and keep you going every day. Somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you have that chemistry. Not everybody you can have a chemistry with. And don't always jump to the fact that, okay, I'm finally with somebody, it's time for us to get married. No, you'll scare that person off. Always make it known that, not saying that you want to damper whatever you're trying to develop. Don't rush into things. I've learned that lesson a long time ago. I learned that rushing into things and stuff like that is not great. So what you have to do is allow yourself to be with, number one, someone that's God sent. Number two, someone that's going to enhance you. and build you up. Number 3, someone that is going to give you everything that you need in your life. And it's going to love you regardless. I, for one, want that. I, for one, had to learn that lesson. And it took me 10 years to learn it. It took me 10 years to actually learn it. I realize that now. That I don't want to just be with someone simply because they can satisfy me in certain ways, or simply because they can provide for me and everything else. I want more than that. I want someone that is going to want me for me, that's going to love me unconditionally, that's going to be there. And more than just that, I want them to just be a friend to me when I need them, and be a lover to me when I need them the most. So during the holiday season, I know you're shopping and doing what you're doing. Some of y'all are in relationships and some of you are not. It's not saying that it's a bad thing to be single. It's a great thing to be single. You don't have to be stressed out and dealing with a whole bunch of other stuff in a relationship. Not saying that it's a great thing to be single and it's a good thing to be married. Either or. But do what's best for you. If you feel as though the single life is what you want to do, then be in a single life. But if you think that marriage is what you think you need in your life, or being in a companionship, then that's fine. Whatever makes you happy. But long as you do it with the right person. Don't ever do it with somebody that's the wrong person. My name is Aliscia Hicklin, and thank you for joining me on today's Alicia's blog. See you tomorrow.